Okay, so I said I was going to implicitly differentiate, and we're about to do that. But there is my basic formula. What I want to do before I go to the implicit differentiation step is simplify as much as I can. Simplify appropriately. Simplify above equation appropriately. Which in this case, for our particular problem, is to remember this, that the altitude equals the radius, or that would be r, h equals r. Altitude, let's put it this way, which is the same thing as the height, equals the radius. So we have that r equals h. So adjusting our formula, we have volume equals 1/3 pi r squared h. That becomes 1/3 pi r squared r, which is volume equals 1/3 pi r cubed. And now we are ready for step 5. Implicitly differentiate with respect to t. So that means we're going to differentiate everything we see there, but every variable gets followed by dr dt, dv dt, dx dt, whatever my variable is. And so that means, I'm not going to write it down. It just means that every single variable is going to be followed by that variable dt. So the derivative of v would be 1. But we're differentiating with respect to t, so it's followed by dv dt. 1/3 pi is just a numeric coefficient. Just write it down. The derivative r, 3r squared. But I just differentiated an r, so dr dt. Every variable gets followed by its derivative with respect to t. Let's simplify that a little bit. So there's step 5. Step 6, substitute in known quantities. Which in this case was when r equals 10. Back to when we set the whole thing up, it said when the altitude is 10, when r equals 10. Now is the time for those specific values. What we're getting here is like a little snapshot in time. What was happening at this moment in time, at the moment when r is 10. So it's near the very end of the problem when you put in those specific values. So we're going to have dv dt equals pi times 10 squared. And one other value that we did know, dr dt is 6. So let's put that one in there. I almost forgot that. Times 6. That they said when r is 10, and then they gave us that dr dt was 6. So I plug those things in. And then step 7, solve for what they asked for. So solve for dv dt. So I'm going to get dv dt equals 600 pi. Not much here as far as solving. And then if we wanted units, they told us that it was inches per minute. So this would be cubic inches per minute. Cubic because it's volume volume is measured in cubic inches. Now, I'm not going to worry greatly about the units, but if you like units, there's the units. Okay, we will conclude this video with the end of this problem and go on to the next problem.